The two common problems of egg buns or egg roll is cracking open while frying and not cooking very well inside while the outside is already fried. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the perfect Nigerian egg buns that does not crack open and it is properly cooked inside. Just look at the inside of these egg buns. It's properly cooked inside and it is crunchy outside. Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Empress Tifa here. Thank you for stopping by my channel. So to make egg buns, obviously we'll be needing our eggs. Afterwards, I have flour, which is 5 cups. I have 1/4 cup of milk. I have butter. Butter is 3 tablespoons. I have sugar. Sugar is 5 tablespoons. I have 1 egg for mixing the dough. Then I have salt and baking powder. Then I have a dash of vanilla, and the last ingredient is water. So I'll be putting in the description box the complete list of ingredients and the measurements that I used. So the first thing I'll be doing is to boil the eggs. We need hard boiled eggs, so I'm going to be boiling these eggs for about 10 minutes thereabouts until they are hard boiled eggs. Now that the eggs are boiled, I'm going to remove them from the hot water and put them in a cold water. So you want to put them in the cold water and leave them for a while for the eggs to become cold. I changed my water once during this process because the water I put them in previously became warm. So I chilled the water out, then I put another water so that I have very cold water. This is just to make sure that the eggs will peel nicely. If it is still warm, it will not peel very nicely. It will be very rough while you are peeling because the egg is not hard set because of the temperature, if you get what I mean. So make sure you put it in cold water. You can even add ice if you want to get the eggs to peel off properly. So I'll just peel all of the 8 eggs that I have, then I'll proceed with mixing the dough. Now that I'm done peeling the eggs, it's time to make the dough. So my flour is 5 cups, like I said earlier. I'm just going to sift that into a large bowl, and once I'm done sifting, I'm going to add the other dry ingredients. This is the sugar, which is 5 tablespoons, and the milk is 1/4 cup of milk. So I'm adding the baking powder, which is 1/2 teaspoon. That's 1.5 teaspoon. Then I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt. Those are the dry ingredients. So I'll just proceed to mix everything together, making sure that they are properly incorporated. Now I'm going to add the margarine to the mix. Then I'll mix the margarine into the butter until the mixture is crumbly, and I'm sure that the margarine is in all parts of the flour. After mixing in the butter properly, I'm going to add the 1 egg I am supposed to mix inside the dough. Then I'm adding a dash of vanilla, and lastly I'm adding water. So I'll be adding the water gradually so that I can achieve the perfect consistency that I want for this dough. The first tip I'll be sharing on egg buns making is that you should make a soft, stretchy dough. This is because when you are wrapping the dough around your egg buns, if it is soft and stretchy, it closes better. So when you put it in the oil, it does not crack open. That is number one tip. The second one is that you should use the accurate amount of baking powder. If you use too much baking powder, it may affect the outcome of your dough, and it will make the dough very hard when it is frying, so thereby it will be cracking open while it's frying. Okay. So this is the consistency I am going for. The dough is soft and sticky. It is not hard, it is not shaggy, and it is not too soft. So if your dough is too hard, all you need to do is to add water little by little until you get to this perfect consistency. And if your dough is too soft, maybe you've added too much water, all you need to do is to just sprinkle some flour and work it inside the dough. So I'm just going to be kneading the dough, not a serious kneading. As you can see, I'm kneading it inside the bowl. If it's a serious kneading, I'll have to put it outside of the bowl. So we are not doing serious kneading like bread. So I'm just going to like knead it until it comes together very nicely. It is still very sticky, as you can see, but the dough has come together unlike the way we started before. It is now it looks better now basically. So I'll just cover the dough and allow it to rest for a few minutes, like 5 minutes. So within that period, I'll get my eggs that I've already peeled ready. By this time, the eggs will be very, very cold. You don't want to start wrapping warm egg inside your dough. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little flour inside my tray. You can do this on your work surface, on your kitchen counter or whatever. So I've sprinkled a little bit of flour inside the tray, then I'm tipping over the dough into the tray. So now I'm just going to be dividing the dough into 8 equal parts because I have 8 eggs. Okay, so the size of your dough will determine the size of your egg buns, so it really depends on you. For this size of dough, you can actually make more than 8 egg buns if you want, just that your egg buns will not be that big. Okay. If you are making egg buns for commercial purposes, I would advise that you get a scale. A scale will ensure that you are getting an accurate size of dough. Your division is going to be equal, So with this method, you don't get actual equal dough. We are just using discretion here as to, okay, they are almost equal, but actually they are not equal like that. So now to wrap the egg roll, I'm just going to dust the egg with a little bit of flour, then place it in the center of the dough and start covering it. And now remember that I said that we should make a very soft and stretchy dough. This is because when I cover it, it's very easy to just seal up the dough around the egg. If the dough is hard or if the dough is stiff, this won't be very, very easy. And this is why most times when people make egg buns, when they put it inside the hot oil, it starts cracking open. It is because the dough is too shaggy or too hard for the purpose of making egg buns. Okay, so you can see how the dough just wrapped nicely around the egg. It's because the dough is soft and stretchy. So if it's too hard, this will be very hard to achieve. So that's it basically. So if you need to add extra dough to your dough, like I'm doing here, just put it in the center of that dough and spread it out. Then proceed to put your egg in the middle. You don't need to start kneading the dough all over again. This is egg buns, and so far you are putting it in the middle, it does not show, it does not crack, it does not do anything. The bigger dough will just cover it up, and you have that size of dough that you want. So that's another tip that I've shared. You don't need to start kneading your dough all over again just because you want to add extra dough with the next one. So that's tip number 2. I think that's the second tip I'm giving on this video. If you notice any ear pocket, just pinch it out, and that's it. We are ready to fry after wrapping all the dough. So now, to check if the oil is hot enough, there are 2 things that you can do. You can either use a toothpick or sprinkle a little bit of flour on the surface of the oil. So the oil should not be too hot. How do you know that the oil is not too hot? When you put in the toothpick or when you sprinkle the flour, you should see light bubbles, not very rapid or sharp bubbling. So just light bubbling, so that means that the oil is hot enough and this is not too hot. So then you start putting in the egg roll, and after putting the egg roll, we have to start turning occasionally. You don't want one side to sit too long inside the oil, and that part will now be browner than the other part, or get cooked more than the other part. So we need to start moving it around frequently. So another thing is we need to deep fry the egg roll, and also fry on low to medium heat. If the heat is too high, what is going to happen is that the egg buns will fry on the outside and it will not cook on the inside. So that is my last tip. I think if I have any other tip before the end of this video, if I remember any other one, I'll say it, but I think this is my last tip for now. Make sure that the egg buns is frying on low to medium heat. Low to medium heat, guys. This will ensure that it cooks evenly and not raw on the inside. So that is how to make Nigerian egg buns. So once it is properly cooked, brown on all sides, then we just take it out of the hot oil. Also remember not to overcrowd your frying pan. So now the first batch is done. I'm doing the second and the last batch. Remember, we have just 8 egg buns, and the first batch was 4 and the second batch is also 4. So this is the second and final batch. Now when you are putting in a new batch, just make sure that your oil is not too hot, because the batch that has been frying before, the temperature of the oil has risen. Then you have to make sure that the oil is not too hot. If the oil is too hot, it is better to just switch off the heat for a while before you continue frying. Otherwise the egg buns will just not cook on the inside, like I explained before, when the heat is too much. Okay, so that's how to make Nigerian egg buns, guys. Remember all the tips. The first tip is to make a soft and stretchy dough. The second tip is to not use too much baking powder. Okay, then fry on low to medium heat. Make sure that the heat is not too hot before you put in your egg buns. Okay, and if you follow through the steps I've done in this video and you get your measurements right, then you should have no problem making egg buns ever again. So guys, that's it for this video. These egg buns, aren't they gorgeous? Are they not just gorgeous? No crack, they are well cooked inside, and they are just very delicious. Good one. So bye.